And we are live.
Sound Minds. Back at it. Season 5, episode 2, the 50-second shot. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? So first and foremost, before we introduce an amazing guest that we have on tonight, just want to say happy Mother's Day to all the queens out there. Those who are doing a phenomenal job with just raising children. And I don't no longer have mine physically. So for those who no longer have theirs in the physical realm, trust when I tell you, celebrate your mothers as well. Those who are here in the spiritual and they still around us, let's all celebrate them as well. But I just wanted, for the most part, say thank you to all of you, from Sound Minds to all your homes and everywhere beyond. Thank y'all for being the queens that you are, and thank you so much for being who you are when we need you. So all you suckers that are not doing your women right and not taking care of your wives, trust and rest assured, we all come from a woman, respect her. You know what I mean? So just want to say that. So salute to all of y'all, from Sound Minds to all of you. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yo, and I'm going to add on something that we often say on Father's Day too. Like, having a child and being the mother of a child is already a blessing, because a father, in order to be a father, you gotta it might be one moment of passion. You know what I'm saying? As a mother, in order for you to be a mother, the least you gotta do is carry that child for 9 months. That's the least. You get what I'm saying? So you already put a year in to protecting this child's life. So I just want to point that out. There's differences between fathers and mothers, and there's a lot of reasons why the bond between a mother and a child must always be cherished. And at the same time, just like we check the fathers, I will say, mothers have an extraordinary role. Mothers can change the way that the child thinks about things. Mothers can make blue look red. Mothers can make up look down. So please know your power. All the mothers, we love you regardless, but shout out to all the mothers who know their power.
That's a great segue into introducing the special guest who we got today, because the topic of discussion is about raising daughters, the daughters who will become mothers. Who do we have today? Our brother Lightskin, let them know.
So today, on this fabulous Sunday, May 9th, Mother's Day, we hitting y'all with a definite gem, but in the difference of the views of things, right? We have a phenomenal guest. So first, before I even go into his name, he is a father, first and foremost. He is a serial entrepreneur, an investor, an author, life speaker, somebody who's definitely going to start provoking your thoughts and hitting you in a different way. And though he is a motivational speaker by nature, is not one of his forefront swords. But trust and rest assured, when you hear this brother speak and when you look into his IG and all his videos and everything that he puts out social media wise and see what he does, he truly is, naturally speaking, speaker to not only life, but speaker to our youth. And it's, for the most part, an author of a book called Raising Daughters. And only because of the fact of the importance of when that comes from a father's standpoint, right? We got Stack Williams on. Stack Williams, let's give a round of applause to this brother right here.
Stack, they call you Stack.
Peace and prosperity. I appreciate your time. Sound Minds, all praises due.
Yes,
at all times. And I need to add the extension to the list of things in his resume, right? He is also a CEO and founder of Supreme Being Inc. that has Supreme Athlete. And when we get into that and everything that kind of, for the most part entails, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody watching, go tell your friends, hit the like button, go tell them they need to be on this. And if they're not watching live because of Mother's Day and so on and so forth, we forgive you. But nonetheless, come watch this episode and share it with all your friends. But when we get into what this man is doing, trust me when I tell you, you're going to want to salute him a thousand times over. So With all that being said, brother, the floor is yours. Please reintroduce yourself in the best way you can, because we already know you are an amazing brother, man. And I want to thank you for even being on the Sound Minds podcast, brother. Salute.
Oh, indeed, man. It's truly an honor. It's a pleasure for you guys having me to only speak on your platform. First and foremost, I'm just grateful to be here. In terms of who I am, I'm a servant, right? I'm a lifelong student, so anytime I acquire knowledge, I'm sharing and I'm building with those who I engage with or I encounter throughout my life journey. I'm very intentional, right? So I'm an intentional personality. I don't waste time. I don't really have it to kind of waste with anyone. So I make sure that every moment is lasting and is very impactful and as positive as possible. I'm one who's love and serve, right? And so I'm a very grateful person. Like one of my most important words is gratitude. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm so blessed. Like I don't want for nothing. Like, so I'm a grateful person, and I just focus on how I'm gonna contribute a larger impact on more people. That's the focus each day. How do I impact more people in a larger way across the planet Earth? Because I feel like I'm a global person. I'm not confined to a proximity. So I do feel like I'm one of those type of individuals. So that's who I am.
Stack Williams, baby. Listen, we talking. Let them know where you come from.
Oh yeah, Hartford in this thing. By the way, Albany Avenue. If we go do that now, you know what I'm saying? You know what time it is. Albany Avenue for sure. From Cabot Street to Oakland Terrace. Shout out to Uptown. We working though. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely from them streets though. We ain't gonna play that game. And what I do really well is I make sure that. So I've tried to represent what traditionally looked like someone who don't supposed to have, and I've had. So what happens is, when you see me out in public, I have the bald and beard, and my mouth is shining crazy, right, with my grill and everything. And I'm always, I'm a light show, so to speak, right? But what happens is when you communicate with me, you find out that I'm one who holds 2 master's degrees. I'm one who's the author of 2 books. I'm one who's a CEO of a nonprofit 501c3 agency, right? Then you're like, God damn, everything changes now. Perception changes, but I came to you looking like the people, right? Because I'm trying to inspire.
Looking like the Avenue.
You know what time it is, right? It's a factory, right? You know what I'm saying? So I want to give those brothers and sisters hope. I represent an idea that is possible, right? And so that's why brothers like Malcolm inspired me so much, because when he was Detroit Red and he was kicking that talk, and then he civilized himself, he became righteous. Then it was a whole different thing, but he still was connected to the people. That's very important. My big homie, the older guy, said, Stack, you got to speak to the head, not above the head. So I had to make sure I communicated in a certain way so that it's, it's transferable, right? But it's 100% Albany Avenue, no questions about nothing.
I wanted to highlight that because you are a man of the community, being that you still can say, I rep these blocks, I'm still around these blocks. I grew up here, then I elevated. And you, like you said, you're being the example of that hope and of that change, of that elevation, and I just wanted to highlight that because people don't know about Hartford, all around, the real ends of Hartford. And I know that you have a great story to tell. And and we're not going to get into that story on Mother's Day, because this is about the queens and the daughters.
Right.
But that's what gave birth to, the CEO, the master degrees, the youth programs, and I mean the number of youth that you have helped and touched and changed lives.
Yeah. So talk. 65 million. So we had actually 63.5 million in scholarships obtained through our program. 63.5. That's broken down into the private sector and the prep school level. And then that's also the university level, right? So my babies don't pay for shit. You understand me? We work our ass off to make sure the young people is really in a space where they can kind of accomplish their goals and reach their dreams. That's hard work now. It ain't like it's not a guarantee, but I've put myself in a position where I can leverage relationships. And so now you got a dog, whether it's a female or a male, who get busy with the sports thing, and I have the relationships who they need. I'm the plug. Right. I don't know if you know Worldwide West, but I liken myself to that position. Right. Now that's somebody who I adore in terms of his positioning, his leverage. Right. He's a power broker. So that's kind of the space in which I operate under as a power broker with a lot of the contacts that I have in putting people in position. So I just use that for the young people though.
So I gotta damn, brother, not to cut your wisdom. We just gotta get into it. You by far are one of the most threatening things to the system. You are by far one of the most threatening people to the system based off of the fact of what you're doing, where you come from, right? A lot of people don't understand certain languages spoken empower in such an amazing way that once you start to hit the young minds and teach them that they're more than what we were always told that we are, black and brown, we always been told that there's a ceiling and everybody says sky's the limit, and that's the lie. Because when you say sky's the limit, then that means I can't see past the space that's and that we know still provides some type of life form beyond that sky, right? And I think at the end of the day, not only are you, and I say that in the most empowering way, you are a threat based off of the fact that not only are you empowering young minds, but you're putting opportunity and people in positions in which most would never even see based off of not having brothers like you. So I just want to put that out there because there's a lot of people who front the fraud. They want to, whether they going for political seats and they want to play a certain face just to get those votes, or other people who figure like, yo, there's a come up and doing good for the people. But as soon as that come up is no longer there, you sitting back in the couch looking on another way to come up. You know what I mean? So the fact that you said 63 million people are now feeling the worth and the scholarship work that you putting in.
Yeah.
Brother, I can't tell you how pleased I am to even, you know what I'm saying, to even meet you. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but to know that there are others like you, like ourselves, who sit here and what we do is always for the betterment and the benefit of all people. Not for no clout. We ain't doing it for no type of stripes on the forearms and no type of tattoos and fake washable. You know what I mean? Like, this is real life. So salute to you, brother.
Thank you, King. I'm honored and grateful. Truly, I am.
And you speak about that, you know, on some of your videos of what you do it for and how you do it for the youth and how you're passing down his wisdom. And you also wish there were more of us, you know what I mean? More of us that put their energy in this way instead of doing it for the clout, doing it or spending their money where they don't need to be spending their money, when they could, like you say, you could put money into your program and get and help the kids, you know, run a whole program, and now you take care of them and it gives them a chance for the future. You know, I hear you speak about that a lot, you know, and it really now shows through your humbleness.
Yeah, we have to unlearn and relearn, right? A lot of shape shifting has to happen. And so what I'm trying to do is really change the trajectory of how we view things, right? Like, it's really a value system issue, right? And so as a result of that, you're going to see what plagues us now. Some of the things that you guys talked about already. But, you know, one life at a time, one rep at a time, as we say in the weight room, one rep at a time, right? And so with the young people, you know, all it took for me was just one scholarship at a time. And at this point now, I mean, whenever you guys get a chance to, you can go on the website and look at the alumni, and you'll see University of Clemson, Michigan, UConn, Penn State, Syracuse, Duke, Hofstra. You know, the list goes on. You know, wherever. Like, we lit. Like, Georgetown, Lehigh, Columbia, we lit, right? And in fact, yesterday I was on the phone. I got a freshman from New Haven, Connecticut. 3 offers, one from Ole Miss, Pitt, and University of Miami. So this what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just trying to change the narrative the best way I can, and it takes a village, right? So even features like this is a village approach, because what that does is heighten the notoriety. Maybe those who may not have been aware of our existence, your audience, maybe they're now aware of our existence. And if they want to support and add value to what we got going on, now they can do that, right? So this is a village approach, right? And so that's kind of like the direction in which I'm taking it. It's very, in my opinion, very revolutionary, because the way I communicate is sometimes old school, because the way in which society is ran now is pacified to some degree. It's very much docile in how people go about some of the things. And so I'm very gritty. I'm very grimy. I'm very Mobb Deepish. I'm very Wu-Tangish in terms of the way in which we train and how I mentor. If you look at everything is, you know, again, I do have the educational background. So a lot of times you see things like, like the name of the company, Supreme being Inc. So obviously I was impacted by Nation and Gods and Earth. So through a lot of the lessons and the mathematics, I learned like the importance of supreme or the word itself. So, knowing that it's the highest physical form of whatever, right? So I just tagged being or athlete with it, right? Just so that the young people I come in contact with, now they got to think like, yo, what is this supreme shit? No, it's not a skateboarding brand, boy. What do you yup. Whoever that is, the kid from Iona. That's right, Ellis. That's my mentee. So essentially, you got to say, well, what is supreme? Well, you're the highest physical form. Well, you're a human being, correct? Right. So conduct yourself as such. Right. So now they're forced to kind of live within that. They got to manifest that. Right. Same thing as an athlete. You part of supreme athlete, and therefore you got to get to it because you understand what that title means. Right. So that's essentially like my process. I'm really brainwashing a lot of people in a positive way. Right. I know it got a negative connotation with brainwash, but I got to wash some of their brains from the filth that was already put a place upon their mental, right? So I'm just cleaning, I'm just cleaning. That's all, baby.
Look, hit that gym real quick. Yeah, that you just been hitting the gym.
Hey, what my man Don DeMarco, like
Don DeMarco,
So in other words, what you pretty much saying is you are cleansing the brains to bring forth more a sound mind approach.
Yes.
Hey. I see you out here.
Now, plug that for sure.
Feel me? Now the thing is, I gotta be real with you, Stack. There's not, and shout out to my brother. First and foremost, man, shout out to Marcus Cato, man, for being on here. Shout out to my brother, Coach and Arte, and everybody else. I can't really see the comments. My brother Narte, he's on here. He was on a previous episode, and I worked with this man hand to hand, and I seen what he's done getting female football players, right? So he started a female football program in a school in which they ain't really politics as usual, you know what I'm saying, as usual. But he went over and beyond what he was supposed to do, despite the fact of lack of support, and created a team within a school of about 3 to 4 different schools, brought these young ladies together, you know what I'm saying, despite the fact that there was beef in between schools and so on and so forth, and help create a very positive environment with what he's doing. Then, on another note, his young son is a beast, young boy. You know what I mean? And you could tell from the coaches of the father, which kind of speaking upon what we're speaking about now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Great
when you say raising daughters, right? And with the background that you've already spoken about, which is Supreme Being Inc., Supreme Athlete, the program. But then you're talking about raising daughters, and you taking the mentality where you just not sitting there and seeing all young who are talented as slabs of meat to then have to deal with the ugly world of the business. You know what I'm saying? But you're talking about raising daughters from a father's perspective and taking those teachings of sports and saying, nah, I'm gonna instill this beauty and this excellence within you and what I'm teaching.
Right.
This is a great segue to, that right there was such a great segue to the book Raising Daughters, that you put together, because I know Coach Narte is gonna very well appreciate this, right? He copping this tonight, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold up, he lived this life,
I appreciate that, brother.
Oh, man,
Thank you.
I already know. I mean, so let's get into it. I mean, you launched this book a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great to talk about the daughters, because I say they are the future mothers, and you are talking about raising daughters through your philosophy, through your experience and and your wisdom. So I definitely want to get into it, and let me share the screen again so they can see this, Raising Daughters, the art of teaching leadership through sports. The best-selling book for those who are raising, coaching, or training girls. This book is an amazing framework for parenting, delving into very intimate and complex phenomena that exist all over the world. The question of how to be a parent has never been formally answered, but this book positions itself in the space of providing possible solutions. A family of 5 led by the father. This book takes a look at how little girls can be raised in a way that has never been seen before. The father in this book uses sports to convey a philosophical stance on life that guides the children in their personal development. The setting revolves around the oldest daughter and father's relationship. She is faced with multiple challenges as the pressures from her parents, teachers, and basketball coach starts weighing down on her. The mother plays an essential role in balance for everyone in the home. She is the key to the temperament of the family and overall mental well-being. But will this be enough for the daughter to rise to the occasion or fold under pressure? That is Raising Daughters.
I'm on the edge of my seat. That's a cliffhanger introduction right there. I'm like, get the popcorn, dim the lights. What? Let's go.
That's a clip for you right there. Clip that.
And it's all real. It's all real for those who know that, believe our children are our future. It's like, that's the real cliffhanger. You know how they say like the best comedy has something to do with reality. The most scary horror film is something real. It makes you look over your shoulder. Like that intense right there, it starts out being like, oh, it's about raising kids and coaching, like, but we got guns, drugs, sex, violence. And then once you parlay the pieces of the tension right there, you're like, yo, this is real. The future of our world depends on this. Like, let's get into the intro. Let's get into chapter 1. Yes. So like salute to you for making a gift. You know, on Sound Minds, we talk about the art and craft mixed together with the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding. And the whole thing is, it doesn't matter what knowledge you have if you don't have the wisdom to know how to dole it out, and you don't have the understanding to understand that people got to be able to repeat the chorus in order for them to go back and find the song if they didn't get the verse the first time. So the art that which you crafted that introduction was beautiful and memorable. I do want to ask one question. A lot of times as a young father, I know people will constantly tell my wife and I, you know, you're doing such an amazing job as our kids start to get accolades and what have you. And one thing that I think we always told them, I definitely remember responding, was that they are amazing in themselves. I didn't teach them. I didn't make them amazing. And a big part of, I think, why they are accomplishing so much is us being able to believe in them and stand out of their way with our adult mental blocks about what can and can't be done and how things can see. A lot of things that I think that were successful for me as a young father was just believing that they are going to see the world in a way that's going to prepare them for the world long after we're gone. And then even more so with a daughter, as a man, I understood even more. There's a lot of times where I'm not going to understand her or know what to tell her, the knowledge, but I do have the wisdom and understanding of knowing that my wife will, and my wife is going to guide her, and just letting her always know that I respect the bond between her mother and herself, and I'm here for whatever a father could do. How much of that, whether it's in your book or your philosophy and your coaching, your own life, how much of that stepping back, but actively stepping back, do you think is important, or not, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's there's a few factors. One, you have to look at the age of the child, in terms of like what level of engagement you should be or not be, in terms of allowing an activity to play out or not. But in terms of that just goes back to the balance piece, right? Like, you don't want to be too egotistical and you know, trying to micromanage the entire process, and then you take away the child's development piece, that their personal, you know, they have to you know, not fail. fail, but 60 make mistakes, right? To learn and overcome those, and kind of like trial and error has to happen.
Give
But
them
the
a
thing is, you can
chance to
still
see
play
if they fail before you just assume.
But you know, for me, it's like the Wizard of Oz. I'm still behind the curtains. Like I'm still like why you doing that? Like I'm still watching, like, because I don't want it to be a fatal situation, right? So I'm gonna let you, like, in the story, you know, there's a situation that happens where
Your phone kind of chopping up right now. Your connection's kind of choppy. It just give
you
it
can't
2
hear me?
seconds.
We
now,
hear
now,
you, but it's breaking up. It's like brickle brackle. I don't know if it's another broadband device competing.
Hold on.
Yeah, maybe something ringing right next to your laptop or something. Your phone might have been ringing or something.
So you can't hear me right now?
No, you good
right now.
It
It's clear again.
Oh, I'm good. Okay.
Okay, you good.
So I was saying, damn, I forgot what. There's a part
behind the curtain, like almost
about,
like the Wizard of Oz analogy you was using.
Oh yeah, I was just saying how, like, you know, I don't want it to get too fatal, so I'm still playing a part. I'm still around, but I'm allowing her to make those mistakes so that she can learn from them. That's the best teaching. You know, losing or, you know, going through those trials to kind of overcome that and make the next move your best move. So that's how I believe in that approach. There's a situation in the book where the oldest daughter coach told her to do something when she gets to the house, like watch some basketball film, and she much preferred to watch one of her girly shows. And the father goes in and like, yo, you were told to do XYZ, why you ain't doing it? This doesn't add any value to.
It's still choppy. I don't know why it keeps going choppy.
Hold on. Let me move. Hold on.
It's like when you get right into it, it gets choppy.
All right. Hold on.
Hold on, family. Hold on. Just a little bit of time. We want to make sure y'all get these gems because that was a great question, and I really want to get these gems in.
So while we waiting for Stack right now, Kav, you could do your best modeling and just show your sweater real quick. See that Sound Minds. So as you see right there, there is merchandise that's going to soon be available. I know people have been getting at me in regards to wanting to order some things. You see the flashiness. This right here is the prototype. But nonetheless, there's going to be some things, some caps, some other things coming soon. So just stay tuned, y'all. We here. Different colors, different styles. You know what I'm saying? Like, you definitely know when the Sound Minds is going to be something right. Right. Stack, you back with us?
Yes, sir. Make sure you hit that like button. Yep, we hear you.
My brother.
Y'all hear me? All right, hold on.
Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You know what I mean? And follow.
Season 5,
whatever platform you're hearing this on right now. Whatever platform you're hearing this on right now, make sure you follow so you can continue to get these gems.
Facebook. You tell us.
Am I in? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I had to come upstairs. Okay. Yeah, man. But yeah, so just to kind of condense it. My philosophy on that is absolutely to allow the child to develop. But you definitely still got to lead. You still got to kind of be a part of the process. But the level which you're a part of it varies depending on the age of the child.
Okay. Depending on the age of the child.
And
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, not my fault. I was about to say too, for those of us who play sports in our lifetime, man, truth of the matter is, even with the best of parents and some with the worst of parents, whatever the situation may be, there's a lot of people that I dealt with. I dealt with the youth over 25 years. Me, myself, you know, playing kind of like the street and at the same time the sports and the, you know, being engulfed and all that, right? But at the same time, I can't tell you how pertinent it is to have the proper coaches in your life. So sports-wise, there's a lot of people who have always come to me and told me how they remember some of my coaching and so on and so forth. And I can't say how appreciative I am of the coaches that I've had in my life. My father being one of them. When I was playing softball, rest his soul, I won my first championship with my father, so I knew what that felt like. You know what I mean? And then playing ball, and there's a coach, shout out to Coach Frank, man, Coach Frank Morales, who taught us not only what to do on the court, but also how important it is to maneuver and move in a certain way of respect and integrity at all times. The reason why I love the idea and the concept of this book is because of that. Because you're talking from the standpoint of not only being a parent, but being a coach as well. You know what I'm saying? Right. So when you get those two worlds combined together, that's kind of like, you know what I mean? That so the 18th power, where it's just like, nah, I'm your parent, but let me explain something to you in a coach's mentality or a coach's way, so that you could understand the analogies a little bit clearer.
The first coach, and a lot of coaches, due to various family situations these days, a lot of coaches are very much as close as possible to being the parent. I mean, some of these kids do not have one or more parents in their home, where that coach actually becomes a surrogate parent. Teachers as well.
1,000%. So my question to you, Stack, is when you started writing the book, did you keep that in mind with the perspective of coaches in your past that have taught you well, combined with your parents, and said, nah, this voice is not only the voice of a parent, it's not only the voice of a coach, it's combined together. Was that playing in your mind while you actually penned the book down?
Nah, man. Actually, the book came about because, number one, COVID had just happened. I wrote this last year. COVID just happened. So I really had a lot more time on my hands. So I always wake up at 4 a.m. and figure out another way to add value. And then I would be in deep thought after my prayers and affirmations. I'm like, you know what? What's the thing that I'm most in love with right now? And it was really just being a father. So I said, you know what? Let me just put pen to pad and just kind of delve into this whole process that I'm undergoing, along with the experience that I've had with the parents that I work on a day-to-day basis. And I guess to some degree, some of my experiences with different coaches throughout my sporting experience, right? So I looked at it like, I think that this would be vital, because a lot of young people that I come in contact with are so misinformed, are so misguided, misdirected. I mean, it's terrible. It's within my industry in particular, because a lot of these kids come to me, they want to earn Division I scholarship, they want to do all those things, but they don't really have the right home setting for that to even be possible. Not even close. And so, it's a challenge. So I wrote the book with principles in mind that I know would help further the chances or opportunity of a child to reach their goals within any field, but in particular with the sports playing a large role in helping that happen. So I kind of looked at it from that perspective. And it says raising daughters, but the reality is I wrote it from the jewels, because it's 12 jewels in the book, and the jewels are essentially what Malcolm taught me: knowledge, wisdom, understanding, food, clothes, shelter, freedom, justice, equality, love, peace, happiness. Right. So with those jewels in mind, those 12 jewels, I wrote the entire piece of what needs to happen. Right. If these 12 jewels are instilled in the child, then that'll further their chances, really. And I only said daughters because I had 3 girls first. Now I got 2 boys coming up now. So I got 1 already. I got 1 boy on the way right now. So the girls was first. So I put the door. But really the lessons could go with the boys too.
Yes.
And that daughter, the girl, that's so I wrote the book I wrote before this one was called Going D1 When Skills and Talent Ain't Enough. And I had my at the time my 4-year-old was on the cover of that book. And now this one, my 8-year-old is on the cover of this book. And they all play sports. They all official. Matter of fact, before this interview, we just came from a soccer game and a track meet early in the morning. So we always tap, then we always get into it. And remember, and in this book, I talk about intentionality. On the intro, you'll see that I talk about being an intentional parent, and I give a definition of what I believe that is. And so, product is important, because product lasts. Like I bought a book, I bought Think and Grow Rich. That shit was written in years ago. You know what I'm saying? I read it years ago, but the book was made in the 40s or the 60s or whatever, right? So when I write these books and I put my children in front of them, that's intentional parenting, because I know what that's going to do to their psyche, right? That's another lesson in the book on doing things like that.
Yeah. Wow. And that puts you in a position to continue to apply. Right. You may have the lessons, you may know the lessons, and you may fall short on those lessons because it's not written down, it's not read, it's not studied, to implement, and you pretty much wrote a how-to guide. You know what I'm saying? You got a how-to guide for parenting. You just put yourself in the realm, in this space of how-to guides. You know what I'm saying?
So it's a perspective. It's a perspective, and I want to be very clear. Like, was not a one shoe fit all type of deal, right? Like I make it very clear that I'm not telling you how to be a father. But like I'm giving you a perspective on what I believe is this process or procedure would definitely is a higher probability that things can go in a direction in which you may want. Right? That's pretty much. You gotta be careful with words, right?
What have you already started to notice? You have a few children of your own, correct?
Yes.
Have you already started to notice that even though they may have the same parents, that they are different, both in just how they are as well as how they respond to the same parent, as well as the difference between the boys and the girls? So difference between the ages, as well as different between the boys and girls. What are some of those things that inform you speaking that type of wisdom of gems to say that, like, this is one perspective, this works here, keep it grounded, keep it in context type thing?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. Again, so I've been a parent. I had my first child when I was in high school. So my baby, or she 18 now. So that was the first one. And then now I got the rest now that, 8 years old, 6 years old, 2 years old, the next one coming up. Okay. There's absolutely a difference in every last one of them. And so, but that helps me be crafty. That helps me learn the skills, and I'm able to really adapt and modify and really like be more flexible because I understand that. But one thing never changes: the principles, right? The foundation is going to be what it is. You're going to figure this shit out. But I run this shit, and I'm very like conservative in that regard, right? Like I'm the man, like I represent knowledge. So I brought you into this world. So now here's the world that I created for you, right? So this is how you operate within this world. Now there's a world externally as well that exists that we still got to coexist with. And here's what this world looks like, right? So, and then as far as their personal persona, that's a matter of us learning every day, right? Because we're still trying to figure that out. That's why I said I'm a lifelong learner, because each day we learning that, right? But the principles are still intact though. So now it's a matter of you, whatever your persona is, however you kind of conduct yourself within this sphere, then we're going to make sure you understand the principles that has to help guide you, whatever persona you have. This is what needs to be accomplished, right? And so whether it's a male or a female, a young or old, knowledge is still knowledge, wisdom is still wisdom, overstanding is still overstanding. So that's kind of the approach that I take with my babies. But like I said, the woman is secondary but most necessary, right? Because that's that balance part. Because
especially if you out there getting it, and you have children of various ages, especially with the younger children. Like that bond with the mother and that ability to respect what the father's doing, right? Instead, because see, this is what I'm talking about before when I say mothers are so powerful in how they can set the mood and even the meaning of things, right? So on one behalf, you can have a man who's out there trying to do his thing, building a business, getting money, trying to secure for the future. And he could be referred to as a loser and abandoning his family. What makes the difference in that? The mother, period. If the mother understands what's happening and says, your father loves you very much. He's working out there to help pay the bills. Your father loves you very much. He's securing our future. You don't have to understand this, but just them looking in the mother's eyes and understanding that she knows that they're depending on you and you're dependable. It doesn't matter what you do as a man. Like you said, that's knowledge. The wisdom is defining the context in which that knowledge even exists, right?
Yeah, I think it's the application. Right. So wisdom is represented by the application of the knowledge. Right. So, the knowledge is if you touch fire, you're going to burn. The wisdom is I'm not touching fire anymore. So it's application of the knowledge. Right. And so the understanding comes in where like clearly you see it through, like it goes through itself. It's a full process, right? And so
yeah, that's the child right there. Child's
right,
understanding.
yeah, there you go. There you
know?
go. The best part, right?
You see in the child what the understanding is. But
absolutely zigzag zig. Yep. So no, I agree 100%. And that's the
so what is that like for you? What is your role what is our role to with our wives and with the mothers of our child, understanding that precious thing that they do, helping them understand. Because when you're talking about children, a lot of what you're talking about with applying knowledge of wisdom, you're talking about, again, not necessarily them going out and getting a job with you, but having the woman tell them what is happening with the knowledge. Because you could be doing the knowledge over and over again, but they're not getting their understanding from the child if they don't have the wisdom of what's happening. So what is it that we need to allow women to do and understand that they're doing when we go do our job that's so precious for our children?
Yeah, tangible stuff is important, man. Like you gotta, I think showing and proving is key, right? So you have to, the talking shit that's not gonna get it done. Like, I don't care how intellectual you are. I don't care if you could recite the 120, supreme wisdom. I don't care none of that shit. The Bible, I don't care about none of that shit. If you're not showing and proving, it does not even matter. And I think a lot of brothers get caught up in the knowledge and they want to, who the original man? Da, da, da. Yeah. Okay. Well, what's the income looking like? Like where you are economically. That's the key. So in my opinion,
the credit score, right. If you want to secure the home, you might need to be able to get a mortgage for your family.
Whatever your strategy is, either way, right? And so for me, my children, they only know me in the capacity of, well, not only, but one of the capacities that they know me is as an owner. Like they don't really know about my jobs. Like they know that I own shit, right? So now naturally they're gonna feel like, okay, that must be within our nature. Like again, that was what we supposed to be doing, own shit. They know that I create. I'm a creator because they see the books, right? Right. So they know that I'm an owner. They know that I'm a creator, right? And they know that I love and support them and their mother. That's important because they're women. So they look at their mother immediately as a connector because they're females. So they see how I respect their mother. That's essential. So
y'all heard? Did y'all hear what he just said? Drop the jet. You giving away the jet. Y'all still got to read the book now. Y'all still got to read the book. This is just a snippet.
Right. Stack, right. I got a quick question. Go ahead, keep talking, brother. I got a quick question. I don't want to cut your knowledge.
Definitely keep speaking, brother. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, guys. Questions.
No, I just so you alluded to and as well as said very clearly, right? It is Mother's Day. As we know, there is the stigma in which men, especially men of color, probably because of vices or their own degree of selfishness, are not the greatest to raise daughters because of whatever they doing, right? And that's the stigma. And then when you get a brother such as yourself, or for the most part, man, I'll take credit right now. You get 4 brothers such as these boxes that you see.
I was just about to say all 4 of us.
Yeah, right? You know what I'm saying? And just kind of like break that stigma. And that's why I told you, man, salute you, brother, because you are definitely a detriment and a threat to the system, right? But it's a silly question, but just kind of to build, how detrimental do you believe it is for a father to properly teach a daughter what it is like that they should be looking for in the near future or far future of what their husbands should be? Because a lot of times we are who we are, and like you said, the speaking and knowing the 120 and knowing the Bible back and forth in the Quran, that's beautiful. That's real cute. But when you are speaking about raising a daughter and by action, by actually putting forth the best knowledge and wisdom they can get by seeing you in action and how you respect their mother and the queen, right? How detrimental do you believe that is to the households, especially black and brown?
Yes, man. You have to understand that you're going against a tidal wave because the media is such a powerful giant. So because of that, it's nonstop teaching. I mean, again, it goes back to the word I talk about in the book, intentional parenting, from everything from the psychological effects When you come into my home, you're going to see a Malcolm X picture. That's your spiritual grandfather. When you go downstairs, you're going to see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, Khalid Muhammad, the Father Allah, Clarence 13X. You're going to see Martin Luther King. You're going to see your father. Like you're going to, at some point, you're going to ask, who are these people, right? So that's one part. So I got to, psychologically, I got to get into their mind, right? Because everything else I can control once I own this is a dub for everything, right? So I'd say that you have to control the controllables. So you got to control the environment, you control the information, you control the activity as much as you can. So if you're intentional about it, then you're going to make sure, of course, in the nutrition, you go to the grocery store. So you know what you're putting into your children's body. So it's up again, it all coincides, right? So you have to be intentional with your approach, because you got to realize that if your child is not homeschooled, which most parents, most people don't have that, this opportunity to do that, then there's 6 to 8 hours of the day with a foreigner for the most part. You know what I mean? Someone who don't look like you, don't represent the same culture, all those things as you do. So right then and there, it's unlearning going on, right? Just because of the nature of the curriculum by design of, it's to create workers and, essentially.
I told y'all he's dropping gems, right? I told y'all he's dropping gems, correct?
Yeah. So as a result of that,
have to replay this one.
You got to work much harder because you're combating all those things. So you have to make sure that you represent the level of conduct and decorum that you would like for your baby to be inspired or attracted to, so that when another brother approaches her, when their time is right, their frame of reference is going to be God, because they've seen a father who is a creator, producer, who was right and exact in his intellect, and he was harmonious person. He was a caring, kind person, but he was ferocious. He was a problem in terms of how he took care of business. That's important for them to see, that you're able to have that balance, right? Because daddy, we could be silly in the house, but as soon as we are in society, it's showtime, it's business, because we know that we public enemy number one, right? And they got to be taught that lesson too, right? That's because again, the media is going to display all these images and all this content for them to see. And some households, children have phones too early, in my opinion. So because of that, they're going to get access to so much things that you didn't want to tell them so early. Now you're forced to tell them about same-sex marriage.
You mean it's okay for the benefit of the child to not give them a phone until they reach a certain age?
Yeah, I'm not with the phone shit, bro. I'm not with none of that. None of that shit. Because then I'm giving my power away of access. Once I do that, now I'm forced to tell them about same-sex marriage. Now I'm forced to tell them about all type of stuff that will shock. It will create a cognitive trauma, right? They didn't even go through the shit, but now
things that they might not ever see in their real life, like dangerous, crazy, dysfunctional behavior, they might not ever see in their real life. And they once they click on that algorithm, they seeing it repeatedly, thinking it's normal.
Hey, my kids know who Lil Nas X is, but they ain't get shocked by that new video that he dropped, because I control the content of what's being watched here, and now he's banned.
Wow.
Right. I don't want to have the conversation.
You had to give the example like that, my brother.
Listen.
That was big.
But my kids on so on point that even when they leave the house, they go to other people's house and they even mention them. They like, we don't do that. we don't listen to that.
Yo, but it's tough. I would be lying to you if I didn't say, it's a challenge every day, because the reality is they do go to their aunt house, their uncle, their cousin's house. They do go to their grandmother's house. They do go. And as a result of that, the reality is.
Wait, hold up. We got to check up. Coach Nante said, this just it. Book order, estimated delivery Friday. And stat giving away these guys in the podcast for free can only imagine. Let's give it up for Nante.
Let's go.
Let's give it up for Coach Nante.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. All praises due.
It's just for sure. Pardon the interruption.
No, it's all love. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, brother. And then this goes back to my initial statement about how platforms like this can help create or add value to the overall mission and vision for what we try and do. But yeah, I just think it's an everyday opportunity and challenge, because the reality is they're going to be going for those 6 to 8 hours, or maybe some even longer for some households who got to work doubles or whatever. And because of that, they're going to be privy to certain information that you don't want them to have. So you got to work your ass off every day teaching and building your babies. Like you have to do it. The other day I posted on my Facebook story, I was building with my babies about the history, knowledge of self from a historical tree standpoint, right? Like where do we come from? And so I had to break it down to them from their mother and their father's side, like, yo, because their mother is Italian and black. Then, me, black. So I had to say, listen, so we just had to have that conversation about where you come from. And that's important for them to know that information. So again, frame of references to just kind of connect things and stuff like that. So I think it's vital, man, that you control what you can control.
Yep. So you got to tell them they the original Sicilians. They got the DNA of the but like, yo, man, you were dropping so many gems and adding so much value. My brothers, y'all agree?
Yes.
Nah,
We have to bring you back for a part 2. We do got plans to take the queens out. You know what I'm saying? So we is keeping it short for Mother's Day. You know what I mean? We wanted to get them in here to drop some gems for an hour. We talk what?
You know what? I will ask one last question.
Hit the like button if he didn't drop. If he just dropped some gems.
But you know what?
Matter of fact, and follow his social media. Go ahead, like.
I want to, for the most part, too, man, want to build on what you're saying, right? The jungle is the jungle. The lion always remains the lion. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter the trends of things. It doesn't matter how the jungle switches. The lion always remains the lion. The hyena is the jokester that constantly is trying to find out the chameleon ways to try to even exist within the jungle in which the lion reigns in. But the lion always understands the importance of his queen. You know what I mean? The lioness. And I think for the most part, a lot of times, man, we get lost in trying to follow trends and be a part of everything that kind of comes in waves. Instead of saying, let me understand that my royalty, who I am as the being that I am, supreme being that I am, right? Where my cubs learn from my actions. If I allow them to chill in the corners with the hyenas or with the wolves, they now start to take trends in which they are not a part of because that's not who they are. And I think what you're saying, man, is very important to understand that as we are who we are as kings that we remain to be, we can never wear a crown properly and adjust our crowns appropriately if we're constantly trying to be part of something that we're not and allowing our children to be raised mentally and spiritually by that of which that is not us. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I kind of got of what you were saying. Like,
yes.
Yeah, not everybody's a king.
Yeah,
go ahead, brother.
Now, I don't care. Like, I'm be very honest with you, man. Like, I could care less about like how whether it's family or friends or society, how they feel about my parenting, man. Like I'm telling you, I'm so in love with my children, like, and at all costs, by any means necessary, I'm gonna build my babies. You know what I'm saying? As I see fit. You know what I mean? According to what the goal is, and we want financial freedom, spiritual health, and wealth, and we ain't fucking around. I'm just be very honest with you, man. And so I think that's important. Like you gotta like know that sometime I might not be the most favorable person at the cookout because guess what? That shit that y'all eating at the cookout, they're not eating. So I don't care. I'll stop the spades game right now. They're not eating that shit because I know how it go. Oh, they got the birthday party. Want to eat cupcakes? Nope. Get that shit out of here. Nope. No lollipops or blow pops. No.
I got something sweeter for them. Longevity. I got something tastier for them.
Same way.
Hey, drop that gym. Drop that gym.
Let's go. Same way over
You in the constellation now. You official. You official. Constellation shouted right out here.
Let me share the screen one more time. Let me share the screen one more time for the family so they can know where to go, man. We got Raising Daughters here on Amazon. You also got supremeathletes.store. You know what I'm saying? Where hold up, let me take it off stop screen because I'm rocking it right now.
Oh yeah.
You know feature your screen, feature your screen. King, feature your screen.
Read that to them, bro. Let them know what that says.
Make your screen big. Don't put us on the side. Put yourself in the front.
I got you. You know you gotta. Oh yeah, it is. So it says, I am intelligent. I am athletic. I am handsome. I am blessed. You heard?
Hey.
You heard?
Yo, when you put the I with the double lines, and it ended up looking like a mathematical equation with an equals. What was going through your whole?
Yeah, you see it?
That's good. That's good. That's good right there.
Damn, yo, you
Everything purposeful. Everything's
I'm gonna say
purposeful.
what A+ said. Shout out to our brother A+, Hieroglyphic Souls of Mischief. Hardwired. You hardwired into the essence of things. You sound minds. You shining.
And one, I mean, for the most part, man, we must always realize today on Mother's Day, all queens, and that's why I said what I said when I said it. Yo, if y'all not treating your queens properly, man, I'm not going to sit here and tell you your life is going to change over a podcast episode. You know what I'm saying? But reflect within your own internals and figure out a way to massage your queen's feet, man. Take care of your queen, man. Take care of your queen that mothered your children. You know what I'm saying? But more than that, especially as is the concept and the topic that we're talking about right now, the brother Stack Williams told you, he wrote a book, Raising Daughters, because he has daughters. And I'm telling you, as a father of two, straight off the bat, if my fathering or my parenting cannot show the future of what my daughters should be looking like in a father, again, be a lion to your daughters, if not to your queen. You should definitely be taking care of your queen. But if you got daughters, understand that if you not, parenting has nothing to do with financials. That's just the smallest tip of everything that is bigger than just money. So if you just figuring a couple of presents or some money, or you're able to take care of whatever, trust me when I tell you, man, the time to sit down and give that internal gem, that internal financial to your baby girl is so important. Because if trust me when I tell you, if not, the streets are ready. The streets are ready to take her and parent her the way you haven't been. And trust when I tell you that parenting is not going to be what you like. So when you sitting there understanding that she's with somebody who's a sucker themselves, because the young boy was able to spit that game in which you weren't spitting on a higher level as a father. Trust when I tell you, when she's impregnated and so on and so forth, that's on you. That is on you. So on this episode, you know what I mean? Because it is Mother's Day,
7,
like my brother said, cleanse the brain, cleanse that mind, and get it right. You know what I mean? Because we got to get sound-minded decisions. And for what it's worth, Stack Williams is doing it. For what it's worth, Sound Minds is doing it. You know what I mean? So trust whenever you sitting there saying, yo, but it's hard as a man. You know, the temptations out there, the vices are out there. Heard you. Your children need to be the most important thing that you do in your life for everything that you do.
Yo, we got 2 minutes. I'm going to ask my last question. And this is a question that I probably really couldn't ask anybody else except for Shorty Bell and some of the sisters we had. Actually, let me take that back. We've had some amazing guests, which I could ask this too. So shout out to the sisters, moms in the comments. If you watch this on a replay, please post an answer to this because men need to know this. I want to give y'all a Mother's Day present. And this is you having a chance to tell men the answer to this. And also I'm going to ask my brother Stack Williams. We talked about people rebelling from the lions to either be with the wolves or the hyenas. And we talked about people not going along with what the father's saying of the lions and trying to be a strong model, right? Now, part of, especially for those mothers who have a son or a child and who might be raising them without the father as well, we know that part of the role of the sons is to rebel against the father to a degree as they become a man. If they don't rebel to a degree, they'll never fully become a man, right? What is the way that we demonstrate to our daughters and our sons and to our wives that we love and respect them, not in a fake, corny way, but in a way of, you know what, I'm going to have conflicts with you. I'm not here as a boyfriend. I'm not here as a one-night stand. I'm here for the rest of your life. So we're going to have conflicts. How do we, as fathers and husbands in this long term, teach that lesson? Okay, you're not going to be a wolf and a hyena. You a lion. But you can rebel against me in a certain way. We can have a healthy spar, a healthy conflict that is appropriate in the way that men interact with women and is appropriate in a different way in the way that men interact with boys versus their daughters. How do we have that gift? What do we need to let our women know? Because there's been so much abuse and trauma that a lot of times as soon as there's a conflict, they run away, they get scared, they shut it down. Rather than showing, okay, we can have a healthy conflict with someone who loves you, cares for you, protects for you, is not gonna hurt you.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I think that the foundation has to be set that, look, I'm here to elevate you, right? So at its core, I'm an elevator. So my job is to help elevate. Some of the things that I say and do you might or might not agree with, but just understand that the core of it all is an elevation, right? Period, right? So you come with some preconceived notions, or you come with some things from your background or your experiences in the world that were really a disadvantage for you. So therefore, now that we together, my job is to kind of like, understand who you are and kind of get a better knowledge of those things that took place, right? We break that apart, we look into that, and now I'm going to elevate you and look at the area in which I can add strength and add value to you, because I'm adding value. That's important. Look, you might like that that beef or that steak, or you might like that whatever, some poisonous, food or whatever. But as a person who's here to add value to you and elevate you, I know better. I know that's going to do to the longevity piece that he talked about. So therefore, I'm gonna have to cut that down. We're going to, we're going to first minimize it. Cold turkey might be a lot, so I'll compromise. I get it, right? That's working together, right? So that's important. So we'll trim it down. Instead of 4 weeks, let's do 2 a week. All right. All right. Now, we'll keep breaking it down, right? Incremental. That's important. That's showing you my willingness to work with you, because I understand that it took years for you to get to that habit. So it may or may not take years to break it off, but we're going to try to expedite it because I love you so much in this urgent matter. But we definitely eradicating it.
Incremental.
Right? So I think that's the process.
Not all at once.
Right. Exactly. So that's the process, and that's the steps that I would take. Right, and understanding that at our core of existence, I'm here to elevate and add value to you. Right. Once that's understood, everything comes from that, an elevation attempt.
Facts.
Period. Right, and you ain't gonna like everything. That's okay. I'm still a man. I'm still gonna take care of this family and yourself. But this is what we doing. Period. You know what I'm saying, and that's how we got to move. And understand that we all come as individuals first. Right. Yep. That's a missing part. We could talk later about that another time. But like, we come as individuals first. When we come together, that's a whole different thing. Right. So there's parts of the individual that can kind of conflict with the togetherness, the unity. And we got to iron it. We got to iron that out and look at what's the end game, what's the goal, right? How we gonna get to that point? All right, I'm well versed in that area, so let me add value.
That's a happy Mother's Day salute from my brother Stack Williams, Supreme Athletics, Supreme Athlete. He's letting you know we care about you. We care about you enough to not hold our breath and tell you everything you're doing is great. If someone's telling you everything you're doing is great and we have no ideas, either we don't care about you or we don't know any better. In which case, why would you be with a man like that?
Facts.
Let me hit that gym bell one more time.
Hey, so go ahead. You just definitely got hit with a jump. My fault, Rob.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, Stack, man.
Yeah, B. Your presence, brother, much needed, and I think all around, right, with your book, with your movement, with your presence, everything that you're doing, right, everything like you said is calculated, right. At the end of the day, what you're doing and what our challenge is to all is let's break those cycles, y'all. Let's stop letting the stigmas define who we are as a people. Let's break the cycles and start building a different narrative for the empowerment of ours. So with that being said, last parting words for me, my brothers, I don't know if you have any. Shout out to everybody. Happy Mother's Day to all. Stack, thank you for your time, man. Thank your family for allowing you to, be here with us today on a Sunday on a beautiful Mother's Day. Yes. Thank you, brother. Let's keep building, man.
Thank you. I just want to say, I encourage everybody to do as much as you can for as many people as you can for as long as you can, and that's all you can do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much how I operate my life, right? You brothers right here, I pray that I add value to your life. And I pray that you take something, I don't care, it don't got to be all of it, but take something and add it to your immediate life, and you move on and you teach it to somebody else.
Some people say prayer is action in the present. So I'm gonna just let you know you did pray. You literally added value to us. There's no question with that prayer. You prayed actively on this, and we thank you and we appreciate you so much. And we're looking forward to the next one.
Indeed. I know Ra ain't really talk about he breezed over it in terms of the community work. That's my most finest work that has a profound impact actually. But we can talk about another time. It was a great.
We talked about that in the green room. We see you out there on social media.
We're talk about that.
We see you. We see you.
Oh, okay.
We see you.
God, thank you so much.
I mean, the world's shutting down and you not. You like, okay, we gonna meet in the park, y'all. Community, you doing great things.
Omnipresent, omnipotent, omnipresence.
We gonna have some more interviews with you. We might, when we do our Sound Minds compilation, we might definitely we might possibly definitely certainly have a quote from you, because we got rappers spitting bars and singers, but we also got people just dropping gems of knowledge in the middle of the track. So it's
another thing that y'all don't know. I get him in the booth too. Oh, snap. I get him in the booth too. We go way back. Way back.
You're gonna see a lot more from Stack Williams and Sound Minds. He in the constellation. He's shining bright. Happy Mother's Day to all of y'all.
Mother's Day.
Listen, everybody's already saying that they waiting for that second discussion, brother. So it's a must. It's written in stone.
Wow, you know this is dope, man. I'm not really as I don't know what the audience is. I know I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I just know this brother for so long. Like, all right, what I'm saying, what you need, boom. I had him come do his thing at art events or whatever. So I just want to add value and show love. So this is great, man. I really had no expectations, but you just gotta serve. And that's all I wanted to do. So thank you again, fellas.
We're building, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Again,
so with that being said, hey,
Jinx.
Go ahead, Rod. This is you, brother.
1, 2, 3.
Sound Minds.
See y'all next
Enjoy
week.
your Mother's Day, y'all. Peace. Yeah, he